Going into this episode, all right, due to the publicity, the scans, the fan comments, and the fan discussion, I honestly thought that this episode was going to be a fully fledged hype ride, you know, given the fact that we know what's coming up, given that we know what our destination is in the next episode, not next week, because next week is a 1 hour One Piece special, but the week after that, I honestly thought that this ride was going to be very special and very hype on our way to that episode. And granted, you can find a way of hyping the episode up. Heck, you can hype anything up if you really want to badly enough. I will say, however, that, I mean, the preview for next week was hype. The episode, not so much. Not so much. I think a lot of it is due to the fact that a lot of the material from this episode kind of falls within the realms of stuff that is expected, that is kind of predictable. I don't think a lot of people expected the Frieza and Frost collaboration to last very long, given the fact that both characters are known for being treasonous and vile and just overall shady. So when you have two characters that say that they're going to be teaming up and have those characteristics, it's like it's only a matter of time before one of them betrays the other. And this isn't just Dragon Ball Super stuff. Like, this is legit, like, general relationship knowledge when it comes to, like, two bad apples being paired up together. For whatever reason, it's like, what did you think was going to happen? At some point or another, it's only a matter of time before one of them backstabs the other or tries to betray or whatever, does something shady to the other person. What I did not expect, however, and I have to give the episode props and credit for that, was the fact that Frost got erased by Zeno. I did not see that coming at all. And in fact, now that we know that he's gone, I mean, at this point, it's kind of like you can go back to last week's episode and appreciate that episode a little bit more, because that's literally Frost's time to shine in the tournament. And now he's gone, so, you know, his time to shine in the Tournament of Power is officially over. It officially came to an end in this episode right here. I will say, though, that everything just happened so quick. It was like, you know, one moment, like, Frieza pushes him out of the platform, just one-shots him out of there, and then the next moment, he's already gone, because Zeno's like, nope, you can't attack him, bye-bye, it's against the rules. And that goes back to my point that I was trying to make in the beginning, that I honestly thought that they were going to be milking the team up a little bit more. I thought that they were going to be expanding on the Frost and Frieza collaboration a little bit further. And so from that perspective, I do think that it ended a little bit abruptly. You know, Frost didn't even have a chance to defend himself because Frieza kind of like tricked him and managed to catch him off guard. But then again, it's like, you can argue that, but at the same time, it's like, that's exactly what Frost does to other people as well. If you take last week, for example, his whole plan, his whole deal was to try and lure Vegeta in and then catch him off guard to eliminate him with the Mafuba. So it's kind of like, yep, that's karma right there and then. So it's not like you can really complain about that. In fact, it's a little bit of poetic justice, because it's like, yeah, you've been tricking people, you've been trying to be shady, now this is what happens to you. So don't worry about it, because at the end of the day, karma gets to everybody. You know, it always comes back to collect. But I guess the main point here is that I think the episode could have used a little bit more Frieza and Frost interaction. Maybe even prior to this, in other episodes, I could have used a little bit more moments between Frieza and Frost just to sort of, you know, get more insight in terms of their team up and what that actually meant and how they went about negotiating the terms to do that. And even if Frost did have a chance to defend himself against Frieza in that situation, Frieza would still completely overpower him. I mean, you know this is true when Champa is literally yelling at you not to fight Frieza. Another thing is that this episode really didn't do base Gohan any favors. I mean, you get to see more of Gohan in base throughout the episode, and it's kind of like, wow, like, he really is stuck. Like, at first he gets pushed back by like a random robot machine, and then he goes up against Jimmy, or Jimmy's, whatever you want to call it, from Universe 2, the Yadradian. And there's a little bit of foreshadowing there in which Jimmy's pretty much says that because he recognizes Gohan's potential as a warrior, which is something that you can't forget. That's the one thing you have to remember about Gohan. Highest potential from any warrior from Universe 7. He says that because he sees his potential, he will, if they meet again, he will teach him instant transmission. He doesn't say it like that, but he says, like, I will teach you my techniques. So that's kind of cool. Gohan eventually learning instant transmission just like his dad. But anyway, yeah, it just makes him look like he's stuck in base, because then Frieza shows up, and at one point the Yadradian like looks or says something that looks like he's about to finish him, just completely throw him off the platform. And then Frieza has to butt in and be like, oops, my hand slipped. And so it's kind of like, wow, could Gohan really not defeat this guy in base? Is that what the episode is saying? And I think Roshi at one point made a comment about the fact that Jimmy's was taking advantage of Gohan's blind spots. But anyway, Frieza just gets in there, and you know how he is. He just gets very, very extreme very quickly. So he counters Jimmy's with his tail, and then he goes on to choke him and then just blasts him in the face, while at the same time avoiding his vital organs because he doesn't want to get disqualified. And then after that, so he gets eliminated, Jimmy's leaves the platform, and then Frost comes in and he's like, Frieza senpai! And I honestly thought that Frieza was going to say something like, if you ever call me senpai again, I'll kill you! Now before that, Whis makes a pretty sinister yet keen observation that I think could be interpreted as foreshadowing. He says that even if Universe 7 wins the tournament, they're still kind of in trouble if they can't figure out what Frieza's intentions really are, because he thinks that the reason for why Frieza wants to win the tournament is just not just so that he doesn't get erased, but also because he wants to use the Super Dragon Balls to erase one of the gods of destruction, primarily Beerus, because he's the god of Universe 7. So once Beerus is gone, I think Frieza can feel empowered to roam free and do whatever he wants. And so it's kind of like, wow, I did not even think about that. And this episode just kind of introduced that potential future plot line. And I thought that was very, very sinister and very interesting. However, I severely, severely doubt that Frieza will be the last warrior standing from Universe 7. In fact, I think this episode, it just really, really hints at Gohan being like, I think Gohan's going to be the last one. Okay, that's just what I think. And I think this episode, if you noticed, the way that Frieza interacts with Gohan, which I think honestly was the best part of the episode, Frieza is kind of assessing him. He's kind of like evaluating Gohan. It's like, okay, I'm gonna like play with you a little bit, but I'm gonna see if you pull through. I want to see if you follow. To the point where he even gives him advice. He says, like, if you had not been holding back this whole time, you wouldn't be in this little situation. And then he goes on and lands his first hit, and Gohan automatically knows, okay, this guy's holding back. So just from that scene alone, just from that moment alone, you can tell that Frieza is up to something, and you can pretty much speculate and predict that he's about to betray Frost. And Frieza blatantly admits that if Gohan had not figured that out, he would have killed him. So he's kind of like testing him, but he's testing him, I think, to sort of see for himself what Gohan's true potential as a fighter is. And then if he sees enough potential, I do think he'll help him. Even if it's like resentfully so, or just full of like anger, he'll do it. And I already made a prediction video. I made a theory video a long time ago about how Gohan said that he wanted to get to a new form, but he did not want to follow the same path as Goku to get there. And I said that in the video. I truly think that Frieza is going to be the key for Gohan to achieve a new mode. Something is going to happen that Gohan is going to learn or obtain something from Frieza that he didn't have before, and that's what's going to lead to his new transformation. And I think this episode just further supports that inclination. If you don't believe me, compare this interaction between Frieza and Gohan with any of Goku and Frieza's previous interactions, and you'll see the difference. In his own very twisted way, you can definitely see that Frieza is a lot warmer towards Gohan than he ever has been towards Goku. I mean, whenever he talks to Goku, every other line, every other sentence is either shade or an insult or a threat or just something of a malicious nature, and I do not think we got that in this interaction between him and Gohan. Now, the problem with them pretending to fight each other at this point is that you can't really use this fight to scale anything because both of them are pretending. So it's kind of like, it's a cool looking fight, it's a cool looking exchange, but it's kind of like useless in terms of like power scaling. Anyhow, Goku is still fighting Ribrianne in base form. He actually kind of praises her at one point, saying, oh man, that Universe 2 fighting spirit is actually pretty good. So you can tell that Goku's having fun, and I'm only saying this because I read some comments from people saying that they were frustrated, that they just wanted Goku to eliminate her as soon as possible. But Goku's having fun. You get some comments, some observations from the gods of destruction from the universes that were exempt, and also we get to see a little bit more of the personalities from the Kaioshins from the same universes. So that was kind of nice. Now, considering what we know about what's going to happen in the next episode, I do foresee Ribrianne getting eliminated very, very early on, just probably in the first couple of minutes. Maybe it's actually Jiren who actually takes her out, but we see this new Cupid mode that she has with like this bow and arrow, and I think Goku in the previous shown still fighting her in base, and then we see shots of Jiren grabbing Goku and just kind of trashing him about while Goku is in Super Saiyan Blue. So it's kind of like, at this point, logic would dictate that he would remain in base, Ribrianne gets eliminated, and then he goes Super Saiyan Blue against Jiren. Now, he does perform the Spirit Bomb We do get to see a little bit of it in this shot right here. If you look at it closely, you can see that Goku is not only Super Saiyan Blue, but he's also activated Kaioken. Now, at this point, we still don't know who the people are that are donating their energy towards this Genki Dama, towards this Spirit Bomb. Could it be the people in the stands? Could it be the fighters that are still left on the ground? Could it be the people from Universe 7 that are, not in the world of Void? We don't know. But I did notice that the preview calls it the Killer Spirit Bomb. And you know how it's been established that the Spirit Bomb, the Genki Dama, can pretty much just obliterate you if you have like malicious intent or like evil intentions, pretty much. As far as we know very little about what Jiren's intentions are in general, so it's kind of weird. We do know, however, from the spoilers that, even if it hits, the Spirit Bomb doesn't work on Jiren. So it's kind of like, Kaioken times 20 doesn't work on Jiren. So like in the preview, he's like dodging hits casually. And speaking of hit, it's been revealed that he will have a fight. Jiren will eventually go up against Hit. And I cannot wait for that as well. Now, regardless, Goku Spirit Bomb is going to be a pretty cool move to watch. Usually that's how it goes with Spirit Bombs. And then after that, I'm pretty sure that's going to drain Goku substantially. And then that's when we see this new aura, this new ki sort of surround his presence. And that's when we get the new mode. And I can't wait for that. That's just, I'm so hyped for this. I hope they execute it in a way that just, meets our expectations and then some. So no Dragon Ball Super episode next week because we have a One Piece 1 hour special. It's just part of the arrangement that they came up with in order to hype up Luffy versus Sanji and then Goku versus Jiren. A lot of people think it's going to be a crossover. It's not. Okay, it's just a 1 hour special for each show. Next week is One Piece's turn, and then after that we get Goku versus Jiren with the 1 hour Dragon Ball Super special. But it's not a crossover. Overall, though, despite the episode having predictable aspects to it, I did enjoy myself a lot watching it. I thought it was a pretty good episode. Liked it if you did. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Again, no episode next week, but I will catch you here on the 7th of October so that we can go over Jiren versus Goku and Goku's new transformation. Thank you for watching, guys. I'll catch you guys later. I will be reviewing the One Piece episode because we have a new opening, so I get hyped for new openings. So I'll catch you next Saturday if you watch One Piece anime. Bye.